I've been a fan of the Mafia series ever since I played through and reviewed the original version of Mafia II for the Xbox 360 on my blog. Since then, I've gone back and enjoyed the remaster of the original game, as well as Mafia 3, which broadened the scope into a more open world experience. So when a fourth game was announced, I was excited. Mafia: The Old Country certainly has the looks of a masterpiece, but the soul of a knockoff mob movie. So what went wrong with it? Let's find out.
Why you should play? Why you should play? Why you should play? Why you should play? Why you should play?
Mafia: The Old Country casts you as Enzo, a Caruso, a mine boy forced into labour by the Soprano crime family. Historically, children from indebted families were sometimes handed over to the Mafia, treated as little more than expendable workers. After a chance series of events, Enzo seizes the opportunity to escape this brutal life. Hiding out in a derelict barn near the mine, he is eventually discovered by men of the rival Teresi family. They take him in, and while he remains bound to the mob, life under Don Teresi is far kinder than those back-breaking days underground. Over the years, Enzo works tirelessly to prove his worth, gradually earning the Don's respect and a place within his inner circle. It sounds like the beginning of an epic, sweeping tale, but if you have any familiarity with Mafia fiction at all, you'll realise things are not destined to go smoothly for Enzo. For over 2 decades, the Mafia series has given us a mix of crime drama and open-world action. The recent Mafia Definitive Edition brought the original game right up to date, and it was a really good update of the slightly clunky original. Even Mafia 3, which was controversial at the time, had style and flair. So what about the Old Country? It takes us back to Sicily in the early 1900s, the very birthplace of the Mafia. It's a brilliant idea on paper, so it's a pity about the execution. Let's start with the positives, because there are a few. First of all, the game is gorgeous, extremely cinematic. The lush hills and the vineyards of Sicily have been brought to vibrant life, alongside the cobbled streets of its towns and villages. The HUD is minimalistic, disappearing entirely when not needed, which really preserves the atmosphere. The English voice acting sounded authentic to me, with accents that felt believable.
Where have you been?
On deliveries. What's the problem?
It's Arnaldo. He's in no state to ride. He's in no state to stand up. Cesare, the imbecile, took our rider as his new drinking partner. I found him still in your house an hour ago.
What can we do? I will not forfeit this race.
I can ride on Teresi.
And I do like how the game takes its time. The early stages build the atmosphere and characters for several hours before there's even a hint of action. For those opening hours, I was really enjoying myself. It's even modestly priced compared to most modern releases. And when the action does kick off later, there are some exciting set pieces that show what the game could have been had that quality been maintained. But sadly, it isn't. perhaps the biggest offender is the storyline. It's not just cliche, it's painfully predictable. I saw pretty much every twist coming before it happened, and if you've seen any classic mob films, you probably will too. Then there's the stealth. Now, I'll admit, stealth has never really been my cup of tea, but I just don't find instant fail missions fun. At least give us a chance to break the line of sight and sneak back into cover, instead of forcing us to restart the whole section. Gunplay also feels unsatisfying, at least on consoles. The auto-aim is far too sticky, and it caused me to die multiple times. I'd line up a shot at one enemy, only for the aim to snap to someone else instead. And if an enemy charges your position, good luck. Unless you're holding a shotgun, you'll be wrestling the controls while they blast you at point-blank range. Then there are the knife fights. Now, I understand why they're included. Knife fighting is a part of Sicilian culture, so yes, it makes sense. And the first time they appear? Interesting. But then, every single major encounter ends in a knife fight, and they all feel identical. Once you've learned the timing for parry and dodge, you've seen everything the system has to offer. By the end, they don't feel dramatic, they feel like a chore. And this is where the disappointment really hits, because the Mafia series has shown us it can do better. The original had tension and pacing, Mafia II gave us a compelling rise and fall story, and Mafia 3, divisive as it was, had ambition and something to say. But the old country, it feels safe, formulaic, like a copy of a mob drama rather than a story worth telling. That's the most frustrating part. The setting, Sicily, is rich with history and stories. This could have been an authentic, bold look at the roots of organised crime, but instead the mystery isn't in the game's plot. It's in why the developers chose to lean so heavily on predictable mob clichés, when they had such an incredible source material to draw from. So where does that leave us? Mafia the Old Country looks incredible, it sounds incredible, but a few hours in, the cracks begin to show. A predictable story, clunky stealth, awkward gunplay, and endless repetitive knife fights drag the experience down. If you're desperate for more Mafia, it may be worth a budget buy, just to explore Sicily and soak in the atmosphere. Maybe even do what I did, buy it, play it through, and then trade it in at CEX while it's still worth something. But for most players, I cannot recommend it. This isn't the dramatic new chapter the series deserved, it's a missed opportunity. It looks like prestige television, but it plays like a bargain bin gangster flick.
Why you should play? Why you should play? Why you should play? Why you should play? Why you should play?